They use the local sands and the other raw materials, for example, calcite, dolomite, the grass ashes, and then those materials were burned at a high temperature through coal burning, and then they could make jars and vases through some ancient methods. Could you introduce more about the history of Chongqing? With generations of innovation and transmission, the process of making glass has been improved. In 1978, since reform and opening up policy, the first modern factory was built for glass making. It's called the Chongqing Glass Factory. I just now heard about the first modern glass factory built in 1978, and it's already 2022, so it has been a lot years. Glass development boomed in the 1990s with the SOE reform. A series of glass makers have developed very quickly. Chongqing Township is home to a lot of glass products, from the jars and vases to the wine cups, mugs, and so on. So you have a diversified offering of products in Chongqing. That's true. We adopted calcites, dolomites, and we are not burning coal anymore for the melting process. Instead, we use the natural gas. So technically and in terms of the raw materials, you have actually upgraded the process. Of course, the product quality has been improved as well. Our products are not only well sold in China, but also in Europe and America. As the hometown of glasses, you have been reputational worldwide. Yes, we are one of the 3 glass makers in the world. I see so many delicate daily utilities made of glass, and I know some artifacts are also made of glass. Could you show me? Of course. I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to have a glimpse of the glass artifacts, since those daily necessities made of glass are already delicate enough. This is the person responsible for the glass factory, Mr. Gao. Dear CCTV viewers, good afternoon. I heard about the story of Chongqing glass. It is the first class quality glass. And I know you can produce the artifacts made of glass. Could you please show us? You could see on this jar there is a picture. It's a sand sculpture. The pattern is engraved on this vase with the master's craftsmanship. And when I touch it, it feels polished. How much time does it take to make it? 1 week. It takes only 1 person? Yes, 1 person. Whenever thinking about glass factories, we think about mechanization. What about this product? It must be handmade, and machines cannot replace manpower. Could you please introduce those plates one by one to me? This plate shows us a picture of Chongqing port, when we used to be governed directly under Chongqing's municipality. You could see the anchoring of the boat, and on the plate there are two characters called Chongqing. You could see the engraved characters Chongqing. And now, here we can see the monument of liberation. And that is the Great Hall. In this picture, we could see the outline engraved by the masters. It's called Chaotian Gate, and on the two sides they are Jialing River and Yangtze River. This place is like a conjunction point of the two rivers. On that thin piece of glass, such a rich content is presented in this picture. How about this plate? There are more stories about it. In the 1990s, this plate was a national gift sent to the other heads of states. It's called a cat plate. Mr. Wang made it. The first cat plate was finished within half a year. If the light shines on the plate, have a try. Shall I shine on the cat? It's very clear. You could see the fur on the cat, and it's also handmade. Yes. I could see the hair of the cat very clearly. You said this is called cat plate. What's the theme of it? The cat catching fish? Cat is auspicious in the Chinese classical stories. It represents good fortune and wealth. And what is the valuation of such a national gift? 300,000 RMB yuan. It's really precious and high-priced. After all, it's an artifact. Our masters have to put months into this plate. So it takes several months for this one plate. That's true. It's really a tough job, and it requires craftsmanship. What about this vase? This vase is about the story of Lin Daiyu bearing flowers remains. It's from the Red Mansions, The Dream of the Red Mansion. If I turn this vase, you could see so many transparent holes. And if you light it up, you can see the female figure inside. She is standing in this vase. That's about the delicacy of glass. It's transparent through those holes. This vase seems bigger than the plates. And how much time does it take to make it? 1 month. It's time-consuming. After all, it's engraving. And what's the price of this vase? 30,000. Traditionally, I tend to believe that glass makings are usually very cheap. But now those products are very expensive. Our masters have a bond with the engraved glass products. They hope to make the glass valuable and worth of a collection. Qingping Township has over 100 years of history of making glass products. So this technique must be passed on by the generations of craftsmen. Exactly. That's why today we can still see such delicate works. What is the procedure of selling those products? Should we market it, or do we receive orders? We just put them on the table for exhibition so that all the visitors and consumers could capture the beauty of those works. And that's the first step. And then we would love to transmit the culture from those products. We hope to publicize the culture about those artifacts to the public. They are, after all, very beautiful. In addition to the look of the products and the complicated process, the glass is also colored. So, what are the raw materials you adopt? Mr. Zhou is professional about it. These products are already the high-end products. Firstly, we use the white colored glass, and then on that layer, we will attach another layer of colored glass. And then with the artificial engraving, we could improve the transparency of the glass and make it true to life. Those types of glass artifacts are already the most challenging products. And what is the grade of such products? For example, the luminosity, they are the best of its kind because it's very demanding in terms of the process. For such one product, if you have accomplished all the first stages and you have to rely on the handwork of the masters and their dozens of years of experience to complete the finished products, they have to use their knives to carve on the plate one stroke by another. Thank you, Mr. Zhou. I believe our viewers are also amazed by those glass products. Now let's move on. And now let's enter into the plant. It's beyond my imagination. Not only the price, but also the process of manufacturing the glass products. They are very delicate. I thought they were just glass products. How mysterious could they be? But actually, glass production is very technically demanding. And what about the number of patents? We have 132 patents, and we have another 128 appearance patents. So adding together, that's over 200 IPR protections. And we have videotaped a clip beforehand. In Qingping Township, the industry of glass manufacturing, how is the status quo? There are 71 glass makers in Qingping Township with an annual production of 900,000 tons of glass. And we could produce 2 billion glass products per year. You are no wonder the hometown of glass. And our annual revenue is about 6 billion RMB yuan. So 2 billion products and 6 billion RMB yuan of revenue. I heard that glass is the key provider of job opportunities. We produce the alcohol wares, the water utilities, and the home appliances. For example, we take up 15% of the total market share in terms of the wine bottles made of glass. We particularly occupy a high proportion of high-end wine bottles made of glass, standing at 65% of the total shares. And as to the bottle for red wine, we take up 25% of the total market in China. Speaking of the glass in general, we take up about 50% of the total market share. Chongqing Township is very high ranking in terms of glass production in China. We also offer glass for the home appliances, and that proportion is about 35% of the national total. The machinery development in the plant is also impressive. We have automated production and intelligent manufacturing. At the same time, we have some artificial techniques. That is like the passing on of traditional technique through generations. As I've heard from the previous speakers, some of the skills have to be handmade. For example, blowing the glass. Today, I know that there are some skills being practiced in the plant, and we would love to interview a guest, Mr. Wang, an inheritor. Wang Yong is the inheritor of the glass technique in Chongqing Township. Nice to meet you. We've heard about your mastery in terms of glass making, and there are a lot of delicate artifacts made of glass. And let's enter into the studio to have more look about the process of glass making. Take a look here. Rich varieties of glass products. What is the purpose of this product? It's for drinking alcohol or tea. They are very precious. They are all handmade. And it's independently designed by our masters. Every cup carries different patterns of flowers. So our masters drew the patterns by themselves, and then they processed the glass cups. What about this one? We designed the bamboos, and then with the sand, encryptions, and polishing, this product is finished. It's an innovative vase. You could use it as a vase to put in flowers, and also you could use it as a container of pens and pencils. This is the workshop for carving. You could see the tiger pattern. Since this is the year of tiger, so our master used the knife to carve a tiger on the vase. It's almost finished. It's a very fine lamp. As Mr. Gao said, you must have a very special management about those transparent holes. It's actually about the theory of light reflection. From those glass holes, you could have a glimpse of the tiger. And our master is making a new one. He's drawing the picture on it. This is the head. He has just started with this lamp. So firstly, they have to draw the sketches, the outline. Yes, after the sketches, they would use the knife to engrave on it. This other product is almost finished. How old is this machine? It was popular since the 1960s. With this machine, you can manage the engraving technique. This is purely handmade. Could you share the story about this plate? It's about appreciating the moon. In the nighttime, in the pavilion, this lady is appreciating the moon to express her homesickness. It's still in the making. It's not finished yet. It's painted blue. It's actually not painted on it. It's a high-end material, and it's really seen. It's very valuable. It's worth collection. In addition to the white-colored glass, such a blue-colored glass is rarely seen in the market. This color, the blue color, comes from the glass itself. It cannot fall off, and it's not sprayed on the glass. So it can be sustained for a very long time. And it takes efforts to make this product. Mr. Wang, I have a favor to ask. With so many fine products, can I have a chance to experience carving? Just take my seat. Be my guest. How shall I sit? This is the switch. If you step on it, it starts turning, and then you could use this very special ingredient. It cannot be bought outside. You use this sand to grind on it. You use this pencil to draw the sketches, for example, the head, the hair, the eyes, and the texture of the clothes, the ribbon, and then you carve on it. You have to carve one layer by another. That is about the fine carving. And it's very true to life. It's three-dimensional. It sounds very difficult. I don't think I'm in the position to try it. I don't want to spoil this beautiful artifact. Maybe I could take another tour outside. Yes. Let's try to engrave on a usual glass. You can draw the lines for every wine cup. Be it the designer or other people, they have to design the pattern first. Every person can have their own patterns in mind. So firstly, with the waterproof paints, they draw on the glass, one line after another, and then they engrave. So drawing comes first before engraving. Can I have a go? Of course. I just need a very small glass. This one suits you. just paint with this brush. Try to fill in the lines with this paint. Seems fine. They're distorted. That's okay. We could correct it afterwards. Help yourself. My drawing is poor. You need a steady hand to draw on it. It requires proficiency and years of practice. So I would just call it an end. I don't want to destroy such a beautiful artwork. You also mentioned about engraving. Where is it? Just follow my steps. It strikes me that it takes a very complicated procedure to finish such an artwork. Drawing, painting, and engraving. So the skills matter. They must be very proficient and skillful. So this is the place of engraving. Yes, this is the plant of carving. Every cup, plate, and vase must go through this process. They are starting engraving now. You see, this gentleman here is producing the dots. They have to grind the glass so that these glass holes look very round in shape. It's also difficult. He's now making a vase for the purpose of a lamp. How to operate the machine? It's also specially made for the purpose of glass manufacturing. You have to dip in the water to avoid the explosion and cracking of the glass. The water can protect the glass through cooling. Now she is grinding the plate. It's also complicated. And also this plate is individually designed and painted. I have a question. How many masters do you have for this process? We have very few. Some of our masters have retired since they are old and they cannot see clearly, so they quit this job. Also, in terms of the work, not everyone can accomplish this job. It takes years of practices after all. For the young people, do you receive a lot of young people coming here to learn this technique? Fairly large enough. Of course, it's challenging for the youngsters. It will take them a longer time, but we welcome them because the youngsters pursue arts. And they are in true love with this technique. So there is still a long way for the passing on of this technique. It's delicate but challenging. I have another question. This is a wine cup being grinded. And sometimes we can engrave the logo of CMG. We are making it up right now, and it takes only several minutes before polishing. So that's truly a surprise for us. And the CMG logo is now being made on the glass product. How much time does it take? According to my knowledge, it's being polished right now. And very quickly we're going to take it out as a gift to you. Also, polishing is handmade. Every procedure is handmade. Take a look at it. When it's finished, you would have a vivid look of it. It's still in the making. I can see the paints. And I heard the technique is called sand carving. Yes. And the color and the shape of this glass is very new. Mr. Wang, I have a question to our party secretary. With the introduction by Mr. Wang, I do want to know that in Hechuan, what is the general plan for the glass industry? In the next step, we will implement the new development concept and be innovation-driven to develop this glass industry. Previously, I heard that Chongqing Township is planning to build a museum of glass. That's true. We are aiming to build a glass museum, a R&D center of glass. So the glass industry could have a synergy effect with the cluster of industries. Mr. Wang mentioned about many traditional techniques, and Chongqing Township must be determined to protect these techniques and pass it on. That's right. We are trying to attract more youngsters to pass on this traditional skill. The youngsters must be involved. And we will try to apply for the intangible cultural heritage to protect it. It's very complicated and very fine and delicate technique, so it needs to be better protected. I saw so many intelligence level in the plants. In addition to the daily necessities, do you produce glass products for the big items, for example, automobiles? Of course, there are huge differences technically between those different glass products, so we focus on producing the daily glass necessities, especially the glass that can withstand high temperature. So the glass products here in the plant are different from the glasses we see in our homes, for example, the glass windows. That's the difference of different glass products. So in the glass industry, it's a very niche market, and your plant only focuses on the daily glass necessities. Speaking of the traditional technique, if we review the clip again, let's play back the clip. I see the high temperature burning and grinding of the machine. We will burn at 1400 to 1600 degrees Celsius. And we also have to go through the liquefaction process, starting from the silica sand. Also, compression is another stage. It's very demanding. As we said, machinery level is very high in the glass plant. In order to withstand the high temperature, you have a lot of models, and also you need the inheritors and other craftsmen. For the irregular shaped products, we need manpower to blow the glass products. Maybe because it's very hot in Chongqing. It's very hot here in the plant. Why are you producing the products in such high temperature? Because the oven has a temperature of over 1000 Celsius degrees. Only with the high temperature can we guarantee the premium conditions for glass formation. It's a tiresome job for the workers. So that's why it's very hot in the plant. You just need to make sure that the glass production is very finely controlled. I see a lot of youngsters here in the plant. I do admire them. It's so hot in the summertime, and the youngsters are trying to carry forward such traditional technique. That's indeed an admirable thing. The glass industry pursues not only economic value, they also have a feeling for this industry. Sometimes 4 generations of one family work in this same profession. So generations have been doing the same thing. That's why this technique has a very long history. It's a rare thing. It requires dedication. I can see the glass as a CMG gift. Could you introduce about the details? This is our specially made souvenir for you. It's a glass wine glass, and on it we could see the letters CMG. And the patterns on the glass are very beautiful. They are made of very thin lines. If there is one mistake of one single line, this glass cannot be finished. You could also see through the glass holes. You can see the letters of CMG through the holes. Thank you, Mr. Wang. The glass is imprinted with the letters of CMG. It's really surprising. It's a long way for you to come down here. The glass technique has been passed on through generations. That's really impressive. And you also have a very considerate plan for the future. Thank you. So, dear viewers, through today's live show, you must have felt that in Chongqing Township, the scale of glass production is very delicate and complicated. And that's why it's called the hometown of glass. Through the CMG glass, you must have a first-hand experience about the hardship of those craftsmen. I believe you must agree with me about the charm of the glass. Thank you for watching.